On behalf of the Greens, Mrs. Harms. President, citizens of the European Union, what is being discussed right now, for my group, the European Union with its is there with its achievements and its weaknesses, which we're learning more about. That is the answer to nationalism. Over the past 60 years in the European Union, we have learnt that we can better protect our interests together, and indeed we can better defend our values together. That is why this European Union is also for us the answer to these admittedly uncertain times of globalization. Mrs. Mogherini, others, they want more competence in Brussels, and I understand why they want that, but everything in its own good time. I am convinced that we shouldn't start by discussing institutional changes, but rather we have to look at the question of trust in the European Union and win back the trust of our citizens through very specific steps. We have to win trust not only in the European Union, but also in the European open, plural, liberal society. Because it is precisely that which has come under such pressure because of the developments of last years. So we, the Greens, want to see action taken so that the citizens can have new trust in the common European path. Over the last year, we've seen how, well, a small part of women who are migrating through the world have found refuge in us. We have seen what this global problem is of migration, but it's only trickled through to us in homeopathic doses thus far. But we have been fighting in the European Union. There is a polarization, and I would like to say here and now that together with my group I continue to be convinced that EU member states really must embrace their international duties and could better live up to those and should indeed do so. But looking to Africa, looking to Syria, and if I were to pray, I would pray that the ceasefire would hold. But looking there, we see that really we have to do a lot more outside of Europe. You know, repression is the word of the last year. If there is no better concept for policy for Africa, if we don't have an effective asylum and migration rights, then, you know, we're going to see these people coming back, probably in greater droves in the future as well. A lot has been said about solidarity in the EU today, and I believe that a solidarity-based response to the misfortune of others, which we've seen over the last year, that's all more difficult if we don't have solidarity when we look inwards, inside the EU. You know, the feeling that banks are being saved, but our hospitals and schools are rotting in many areas of the EU. That there's terror out there. So many things are not working. There is so many sources of uncertainty and fear that we should be addressing. And I'm saying this with an eye to Bratislava and the summit. We cannot do this alone. We have to realize that without the involvement of our governments in our member states is not going to work. Mr. Juncker, the investment plan that you mentioned, it's good, but it doesn't go far enough for youth unemployment. Yes, it's good to be interested in that, but then to give Interrail responses. Well, Mr. Weber, I'm sorry, I love Interrail, but that can't be what it's about. Creating tax justice and looking at the difficulties of the Stability Pact linked with unemployment and youth unemployment. That's what we have to be doing. One of the big green future projects is the climate union. If we don't quickly ratify Paris, if we don't become serious about switching to renewables and efficiency, which could bring economic dynamics into certain countries, which many could use, that's something we have to work on, but we have to be logical about it. As Greens, we are all ready to work on the major achievements on consumer protection, environmental protection, in the meantime, data protection. We defend those. What we expect, and Mr. Juncker, you and your Commission, this is something you have to take very seriously. These are achievements for our citizens. And if, we don't take those seriously, our negotiations on TTIP, etc., and if we don't defend them and show commitment to further develop them, then we're going to lose the trust even further of our citizens. Thank you very much indeed.
Das Wort hat jetzt für die EFDD.
And now the FDD, the